Ready to rock and roll, guys? What is going on? My name is Brando Linick, and in this video we're talking about happiness, and we're talking about workplace, which I know sometimes it can just make you cringe. I was in that place, that same position, trying to find happiness while I was working as a baker in a restaurant a year and a half ago, and the whole purpose of this video is to share with you guys some principles that I used, exterior motivating factors that allowed me to get really happy really fast. And I'm not over-exaggerating, actually, learned and took these principles and actually allowed me not just to create happiness in the work that I was doing, but actually leave my job a year and a half ago and build a business and income on the internet. And what happened was, while I was working as a baker for 3 years in this restaurant, I realized I was always negative. I hated it, I dreaded it, I didn't like the fact that someone was telling me what to do and how to do it, where to show up, how much I was worth, that I had to stay later. I hated that. I hated that whole environment. It didn't matter if I was working in a restaurant or Foot Locker or the Bay. Like, it didn't matter where I was working, retail or something else. The idea of someone dictating to me how I was going to live my life and make money, it just was not my cup of tea. And I wasn't happy. I was miserable. And I just started to ask myself questions like, how can I become more happy? How can I do it? How can I work at my workplace and be more happy? And what I realized was I needed to never work for someone again. And I know this seems really bold and exastic, but when it comes down to it, I set that as a goal and an outcome. I realized that getting into business, getting into entrepreneurship, so I set myself up an exterior motivation, meaning that I set myself up a goal that I could work towards, and immediately, it didn't happen overnight, it wasn't easy, but having that thing that I was working towards on the side of working a full-time job 50 hours a week as a baker, it began to make me not focus on the negative and focus on the positive, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I realized that because every day I would get up, I would dread going to work, I would dread the commute to work, I would always dread all these things. And instead of doing that, when I set myself up a goal, because I knew people were building businesses and incomes online, and I knew being my own boss and making my own income, never having to work for another person again, was ultimately what was going to make me happy at the end of the day. And so when I set this goal, guys, instead of focusing on workplace and restaurant and baking, I decided to look at it this way. Okay, I'm going to go bake for a couple hours, and it's going to get me closer to my goal of, being able to build a business online. Because I had that motivating goal, all right, I just focused on it, and I worked and I worked and I worked. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I tried a lot of things out that didn't work. Some things did work, and it wasn't until I came across an individual who's building a business and income online, and I began to model and copy them, and it took me 3 months after that point to create a full-time business working part-time online. And that's not average or typical results, but it's to share with you guys that ultimately, when it comes to being more happy at work, all right, and finding true happiness at work, the best tip I can give you is set yourself up small goals. It doesn't have to be you have to quit your job this week, all right? It doesn't have to be you have to build a business online. For me, that's what it was. For me, it was me asking the question, what is my ideal lifestyle? What would my perfect day of happiness look like? Well, it wouldn't be having a boss. It would be being able to do what I want to do when I wanted to do it. And I realized right then, as soon as I thought of that, I needed to get into business. I needed to start a business because that would mean I would never have to deal with a boss again, and I could be happy doing my own work. I realized that. So then I started searching for things. And because I was searching for ways and means to become my own boss, to quit my job, I was so focused on that goal of doing it and succeeding at it that I began to be really happy at work. I was baking, and I was actually really happy because I knew I was going to quit my job, because I found an answer that was going to allow me to quit my job and never work again. So I wasn't going to be stuck in that one place confined for the rest of my life and then, retire in 60 years and live off of a pension and a social security check, all right? So if you set yourself up small goals or big goals, goals you believe and you can achieve, that is what's going to make you more happy. And it can be small things in your workplace, it can be out of your workplace, like starting a business, but building up goals where you can focus your energy and your efforts towards that goal, and just looking at your workplace as a vehicle that's going to help you get there. It's by far the easiest way to become more happy and finding true happiness within, because it starts within before it can start, out in the physical world. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's a little bit of a ramble and spiel, but that's my personal experience on it. in like the most simplistic form and fashion I can share with you. So I really hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions and comments, put them down below. And if you'd like to learn more information about building a business and income on the internet, if you're coachable and trainable, you're open to learning, connect with me on my site. I'll put a link down below, 23marketingtips.com, and I'll see you guys on the beach of the world. Take care.